Hi, starting with the first editorial of 5th December, which is Due Diligence and Unsafe Drugs. This editorial speaks about the government's order of banning the around 344 fixed dose combination drugs. Recently, the Delhi High Court has moved against this ban. Now let's see what is fixed dose combination. Fixed dose combination is nothing but a cocktail of two or more active drug ingredients in a fixed ratio of doses. So the doses are fixed, and this such combination of drugs, they are very useful in treating the conditions like diseases like HIV, AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, etc. Now government has banned these drugs because it has given the reason like that some combinations are unsafe, and they also promote the antibiotic resistance, while the remaining lack the particular therapeutic value or advantage. Now, the Delhi High Court has quashed all the notifications by the government which asked for the banning of the manufacture and sale of 344 fixed dose combination drugs. Now, while giving this judgment, the Delhi government did not go into the merits of the ban. Okay, it didn't, so that means it did not go into the details whether this FTC are useful or not, but it was looking at the process by which the decision was arrived to ban this FTC. Now let's look into a background. Around 1988 to 2012, the state licensing authority, they were granting license to produce fixed dose combination drugs to the industry without the approval of drug controller. Then what happened is that center asked the industries to apply for the license afresh again. While reviewing the license of the industries to produce the FTC, the center again did not consult the drug controller, but it formed 10 committees. But these committees failed to consider the application, so the center had to form again another committee called Kakote Committee. Based on this report, it banned the central government banned the 344 fixed dose combination drugs. Now, for this preparation, we have to remember many committees. So, the trick to remember this committee is, see, Kakote committee sounds similar to Coke. So, you just imagine a Coke filled with pills. Instead of Coke, there is pills. So, in a Coke can, there are pills. So it's then you can remember it as Kakote committee, referring to the pills, that is fixed dose combination drugs. Okay. Now, the reason for court to squash the government's notification regarding the banning of FTC is that it says that government exercised its power under the Drug and Cosmetics Act without consulting the Drug Testing Advisory Board and Drug Consultative Committee, which is very much essential. So, it says the government has obtained the decision without consulting the authorities under the Drug and Cosmetics Act. Next editorial is Indonesia's blasphemy protest. In this editorial, the writer speaks about the protest against the city's governor Basuki Purnama, who is in minority of being both Chinese and Christian. The such incidents would endanger the accommodating fabric of Indonesian society, which maintains the secular tolerance of its Christian, Hindu, and Buddhist minorities. So there is also suspicion that hundreds of Indonesian youth have recently traveled to Syria to join Islamic State. So this is a matter of concern. So it's very much essential to maintain peace in Indonesia now. Now, coming to PT's point of view, looking at Indonesia's map, we should have the brief idea about the islands of Indonesia. It may be like Sumatra, Jakarta, Ambon, New Guinea, etc. And the capital is Jakarta here. And it's also very much essential to know the surrounding countries, the neighbors of Indonesia. One is Malaysia, then Philippines, then comes the Papua New Guinea, then Australia, and there's also the previous PT test, they have asked you to arrange the countries from the south to north or north to south. So it's very much essential to know the countries in order, like Indonesia, Malaysia, then Thailand, etc. So you have to by heart the countries from south to north or north to south for PT point of view. And also coming to the seas, there is Celeb Sea, then Java Sea, Timor Sea, etc. So to just having a brief idea about this. Then coming to the next editorial, which is Notes for a Cashless Economy. Here there's nothing much. The writer speaks about the measures taken to curb the black money. First was this after the government, the BJP government has come into force. So first is the constitution of special investigation team, which was headed by the MB Shah. Second, in that in G20 summit in 2014, our prime minister took up the issue of the black money with other global leaders. He also urged the tax havens to provide the information for the tax purposes. Then there was this Black Money Undisclosed Foreign Income and Asset Act and Imposition of Tax Act 2015, which came into force for the disclosure of the foreign black money within 3 months by paying 60% tax. Then there was constitution of multi-agency group on the Panama paper leaks. And then comes the passage of Benami Transaction Bill in 2015, and India also inked agreement with many countries, also including US, to add new provisions for sharing the bank information among the countries. Then came the double taxation avoidance agreement, was signed with countries which were considered to be the safe havens, including countries such as Mauritius and Cyprus. Then India also joined the Multilateral Competent Authority Agreement on Automation Exchange of Financial Account Information to combat the tax evasion and to unearth the black money. Now let's see what is this account exchange of financial account information. In 2014, countries agreed on common reporting standard to exchange the financial account information. Now let's suppose a resident of a country opens an account in other country. Now this country has to share the financial account information with the tax authorities of the residence country. So financial account information include name and address, then the account number, and name and identifying number of the financial institution, and also the account balance. So all this information has to be shared with the tax authorities of the residence country. The next editorial is Roadmap for the CBI. I'll be doing a separate video on dealing with the details of the CBI. Now coming to the editorial, now it speaks about the criticism of the CBI. First criticism is the vulnerability to the political pressure. Second is delay in concluding the investigation. Third is dishonesty and harassment of the public. So first, coming to the first criticism, there is always, the CBI is vulnerable to the political pressure. So what has to be done is that the investigations should be insulated from the political pressure, and the action or the measures should be taken from both government and CBI. Then coming to the third point, there is also complaint of the dishonesty and harassment of the public. So there must be stringent action and monitoring of this. Then second point, which is delay in concluding the investigation. There are often complaints about delay in concluding an investigation. So what has to be done to fasten the process is that first is that CBI should take a few select cases. And the second thing is that there is no professional alternative agency at the center to which the less important cases can be transferred or diverted. So what has to be done is that we need to expand the CBI's infrastructure, especially its manpower. CBI is not popular among the youth who are looking for the central government employment through the UPSC examination route. So there's need for the fresh look at the service conditions for the direct recruitment to CBI and make it more attractive to the youth. Another drawback for the CBI is that it has to depend on the state governments while investigating the cases in a state, even when such investigation targets the central government employee. Since police is a state subject and CBI acts as per the rules described in the Code of Criminal Procedures, this makes it CBI as a police agency. So it needs the consent of the state to start the investigation, even against the central government employee. Now the suggestion is that There should be a change in the CBI Act, making it par with the Customs Act or Income Tax Act, so that CBI officers enjoy the independent powers of investigation outside the criminal procedure, code of criminal procedure, without the mercy of the state governments. Coming to the next editorial, which is Unbuilding Our Cities. This editorial speaks about the last year's floods in Chennai, and it says and it speaks what should be avoided. So we have to avoid construction on vulnerable floodplains, then allow construction along the margins of the sea and water bodies, then construction on the wetlands, and there's also need to avoid the obstruction in the natural flow of river, so that the river is allowed to drain into the sea instead of spreading laterally around the cities. So this is the today's editorial. If you have found it useful, please like and subscribe, and also please give me your suggestions for any improvement or any change. Thank you.